We are jumping into Guru versus aLive for now. So let's see how this is going to go, guys. Thank you for your patience. And let's go into this. Top left-hand side, the blue Terran player is aLive. And he is up against Guru in the bottom right from his number. So again, guys, the picture-in-picture stuff is very new. I'm still sort of figuring out how it's going to work, because obviously it means more content, but we also still need to run the ads, because if we don't run the ads, we lose out on a big portion of the revenue we make on the stream, which allows us to run tournaments like this and all the rest of it. So while we do want to bring you more content, we still have to run ads at some point. So that's why we sort of like threw to a break, even though Tails Fighting Frog was going on, you know, and that sort of stuff. So we do our best to kind of bring you guys the best possible kind of stream, but we still have to support the stream, so we do have to take an ad break. And so generally my idea is that we're always going to have like a main series that we're watching, and we'll never run ads and skip, you know, out of game during the main series. And then the second series that we're watching is always going to be a sort of situation where it's like, aha, well, you know, we're just sort of giving you updates on that, letting you know how it goes, maybe showing you the final fight or something, and, you know, just again going along that sort of pathway. And then sometimes maybe, you know, if the game is going long or so, we'll jump to an ad break, because I need to take a break as well. As much as I love talking to you guys and talking non-stop, there is a point where it gets, you know, I need to take, you know, 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there, to rest my voice a little bit, catch up, and all the rest, which is what the ad breaks let us do. So hopefully you guys can understand that, and that is why we sometimes do just throw down the... or maybe, I don't know, like, again, the picture-in-picture stuff's, like, super new to me, so it's very new for everyone, I think, and that means that we'll just try and figure it out, and we'll see what we think is best, and try and figure out ways that it's really cool, and so on and so on. So if you enjoy it, then you have any feedback, then do let me know. I'm always happy to hear what you guys have to say, and happy to hear what you guys have to kind of bring to the table, because, again, I want to make the best show possible for you all, so... if you guys know, or think you know, something that would improve it, then I'm happy to hear it, so please do share. But maybe not while we're in-game, because otherwise it can be a bit hard to keep up, and I might miss some of your fantastic suggestions. Alright, this early game TVZ is not too much happening, nothing too crazy in the very early minutes. We're going to see a couple of Lings just moving over to the left-hand side. There's Reaper coming down to the south, and is going to run on in, and he's just going to be poking away a couple of Lings that come out. Blood Bowl a bit of a weird map, but for TVZ, I guess it's not that bad. You know, for a Terran player, you don't really need quad gas super early in TVZ. The extra minerals will go a long way to making more Marines. And for a Zerg, you can take the gold base anyway, so it's not that bad for TVZ. It actually might even be more problematic for the Terran because of the gold, but I guess if he goes for something aggressive towards the gold, then that could be nice, because obviously there's going to be a lack of creep in this direction for a little while, and that might, of course, hurt to some extent, so... we'll see. I think it's an interesting map. I mean, I haven't seen many games being played on this map, honestly. For obviously the fairly simple fact that it is a weird one. But it'll be interesting to see what matchups it does get used in. And I think out of all the matchups, well, probably mirrors, but TVZ especially in the non-mirrors, I think is one of the ones we're more likely to see this on. Just because in PvZ, the gold base can be so abusable from a very early stage. Maybe not so much with Adepts nowadays, but I guess it's not that far away. And then TVP as well, like, it's just very weird for drops and so on. There's lots of ledges and abusable positions for Terrans and Liberators, so I think TVZ is probably the one non-mirror matchup that we're likely to see this sort of setup in. And as we see, Reaper just going to hop away to the top side. I actually never knew there was like a Reaper, kind of a Reaper ledge up to that top side of the base until the other day, when suddenly I had like 5 Reapers jumping into my main, and I was just like, oh, well, that's awkward. You know, you've got all this space down here, jump up, and there's a space at the top of the main. Like, is there any need for it? Well, probably not. You know, there's probably no need at all, but pretty crazy. Guys, just as this TVZ sets up, we do actually, in the meanwhile, have these Stalkers from Tails is about to attack on up the ramp of Fighting Frog. And Fighting Frog doesn't even have Warp Gate yet. He's only just finishing it. So basically, Tails going for a very fast blink attack in response to the Nexus first of his opponent. So he's been very aggressive, and so far looking as though he gets a pile on the sub, but not really too much. And as we see, the Hellbat attack starts to kick off in this TVZ, though, so let's focus on this. As we see the third hatchery here, the gold is under fire. I mean, already down to half health. We see a Raven follow up behind this. The Roach is on the way out, getting ready to help, and getting ready to try and do something here. We're just going to be seeing the Hellbats again, having a little bit of a look to see what else they can get up to. Drones transfer over to the gold base, and looks though aLive is indeed going to be pushed away, but he's forced out a lot of units. He's slowing down the economy of his opponent, which is one of the big things he wants to try and do here. at this sort of stage. And still those Hellbats again just working their way through a Roach or two. Roach is actually just going to keep on going across the map to counterattack, as it looks as though Tails, at the meanwhile, down to the bottom right of your screen in the PIP is he's kind of taking it. It's an interesting fight, but it looks as though Tails might be running out of steam a little bit. I'm going to just leave that up there because it is very interesting at the moment as we follow these Roaches up towards the top side. Hellbat's still cutting off a couple of reinforcements, but what is there really in position to defend this? Well, I guess an auto turret will help, but an auto turret doesn't last forever, and this third CC on the low ground is already going to be in a lot of trouble as well, so third CC is going to be dropping, and yeah, probably will have to cancel that. Still has Hellbats on the map though, which is kind of the funniest thing, the fact that he just still has these like out in the middle of nowhere. So Hellbats are going to move forwards once more, and I guess they're going to get cleaned out by further reinforcements. Tank now up though, so aLive has bought the time. Yes, he had to cancel a CC, but he survives, and I think that's one of the main things for him at this point. So aLive is going to be surviving, he's going to stay very much so alive, and he's going to keep on moving through. Meanwhile, Fighting Frog is indeed about to actually lose this game. It looks as though Tails with further warpings was just about able to kind of push on through here, and probes are currently being pulled on in and all the rest. It looks as though we're going to a 1-1, and there it is, actually just wrapping up there. 1-1 between Tails and Fighting Frog. That series tied on up, and we'll be going into a game 3. As we do see the third CC from aLive begin to rebuild, another tank coming up out the front, and, well, Roach is just going to pull away from the top side of the map and going to start being a little bit more passive now. So another Ravager starts to come up as well, and we are going to be seeing that Lair is also just about halfway done right now. So Lair's about halfway done, and we're going to be seeing the Lings, Roaches, and Ravager from Guru all moving in towards the center of the map. Lone Raven over to the right hand side, just going to be sat here ready to throw down an auto turret or so at a moment's notice, ready to throw out a helping hand to get some damage done potentially. Marines, Marauders still just joined up on the low ground, and everything just slowing down a little bit here, as that's not a good lag spike, is it? That's not a good lag spike. There we go. We are going to be just seeing again those couple of Ravagers just wolfing in, and Guru just playing again, very heavy Roach Ravager style. Man, the Raven's doing so much damage though, picking up already, what, 9 kills? 6 kills? 3 more kills elsewhere? Yeah, there's a second Raven, that's what I was looking for. I couldn't see on the minimap at all. There it is, finally found it. This one's got 11 kills. And this is the thing, the Ravens are just so kind of good at dealing damage here, you know. Time and time again, they can just pop in with the auto turret, throw it down, picking off a couple of drones here, picking off a couple of drones there, and it all does just add on up as you see two Medivacs now heading in towards the main. So is Guru going to be able to deflect this? Well, he is playing Roach Ravager, so he should have a good army, but is it going to be in position? Actually looks as though aLive might be dropping towards the fourth, which actually looks very similar to the main in terms of layout. For a moment, I was actually confused whether this was the main. I was like, what? You know what I mean? Like, this little area up here just looks so similar to this little area of the main base there. So I was like, wait a minute. Another auto turret, and, well, now he drops into the main too. And again, Guru is losing quite a lot of workers here so far. So a lot of workers going down. This Bioforce going to be picking up a few more of these Lings, and now he just lifts up. He's barely lost anything. This Raven here, once again, picking up more kills, now up to 15 worker kills. Absolutely crazy damage as aLive is pushing through the center of the map. His tank's coming along here now as well. His drop will kind of retreat away a little bit so they can unload and start to clean up a couple of tumors wherever possible. And you see this tank just going to siege on the low ground again. Looking pretty okay for aLive right now. Does Guru have enough? Well, I'm not sure. He's got the Carapace upgrade, so all of his units do have an upgrade. And you see Ravager shots coming in, and I actually see a lift up and a back away. Well, not a back away, perhaps, but a drop in towards the main. Queens here, though, will somehow not get a single one of these Medivacs. And I guess aLive just abusing the fact that this map is so droppable. You know, you can just jump around on this map so easily, go from one location to the other. It's exactly what we're seeing, and might even see the main base hatchery just going down. There isn't a damage output from Guru to shut this down in time. And he is indeed going to be able to pick off that hatchery. Good stuff by aLive. It's a fantastic job so far, as he's going to be seeing those Marines coming down the low ground yet again. We'll see some drones taking some damage. A Hive starts to morph on in from the lair. This is scouted by, you know, aLive, of course, so that's fantastic information, if nothing else. Going into his combat shields now, 2-2 upgrades as well. aLive just maintaining a small upgrade lead, as Guru is a little bit slow to start up with +2 melee. And you would imagine he's probably, I mean, you might question why is he going melee upgrades if he's playing Roach Ravager, but he's kind of playing like a Ravager Ling style, which leads into Ultralisks at kind of a faster pace than you might expect. So that's something we're sort of seeing sort of develop there, as Guru going to lose some Queens up to the top. He's going to lose all of those, not a single transfuse. Now a scan comes down, so aLive knows what he's attacking into. It's this drop that's just distracting Guru, allowing aLive to suddenly hit this mineral line. And I mean, so many queens picked off. He can probably sim forwards and pick off these Ravagers. Going to get 1, 2, 3. Targets the 4th one as well. I mean, Ravagers are so valuable because of 100 gas apiece costing. It's very, very expensive to lose out on those. His tank on the low ground is just going to add the damage to these Roaches, and Guru is falling apart. He's still taking damage all around the map to Ravens, to Medivacs. Like, it's just not never ending. And also never ending is this push forwards. You don't usually rally push against Roach Ravager. It's not really that sort of composition like Link Bane Muta. But it's definitely working here just because of how much of a lead he's already set up into. Corrosive Bowers will get rid of this tank, and what I think is actually very interesting is the fact that aLive just gave up on tank production. Like, he's not really been building too many more siege tanks at all. You can see he's just rallying Marine and Marauder. He hasn't built a tank for a little while now, so aLive really kind of making the most of this, and that is going to be GG. aLive picks up. Let's jump back to the PvZ for a couple moments time here, because you can see the Stalkers have joined up now, and they are getting ready to go in the next few moments. So as the Stalkers get ready to go, they're going to start, well, just pushing in again. I mean, the Archons alone were doing so much, and now with Stalkers and Blink about to finish as well. Actually letting a couple of Archons die, a little bit of lack of micro, I suppose, more than anything. And well, Fighting Frog's actually going to turn this around to some extent. Finally, some Blink coming in. I mean, the Blink Stalkers on their own should be more or less able to, you know, to do enough here, I think, to just clean this out anyways. But losing the Archons so quickly definitely didn't help him out. He has the Prism there, and the Prism should be used to micro when he can. As you can just see, though, the Roach's numbers are completely decreasing. The Roach is going to go down, the Ravager is going to drop, and that is just about going to be GG. Well played. Good luck from Fighting Frog. That will be that. Back to the TVZ, and aLive with this Reaper has picked up a couple of drone kills, so a couple of kills early for him. As we do have a couple of shouts, by the way. Xwazag X says, forgot to send you this. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub, dude. I know that came in the other day, but, well, you're sharing it today. You get 2 shout-outs. Second shout-out just for you. Thank you so much for the sub. Do appreciate it. And Jimmy Jamjars with the 6-month resub. Half a year, bro. Thank you so much. Appreciate the continued support, as always. Thank you very much. Alright, well, third hatch comes down from Guru. So far looking pretty standard. The build from aLive will be the 2-1-1 opening. So setting up into this, having a little bit of a look to see how that's going to go and how that's going to develop over the next few moments. Gives us a little bit of a kind of opportunity to kind of talk about, or to sell out a little bit, I should say. What I was just going to say is that, of course, if you do enjoy the stream, subscribing is a super awesome way to support. Not only does it help us to continue being a full-time StarCraft 2 stream, casting, producing events, organising, and all the rest of it, but also we actually take a chunk of the sub money each month and put it in towards events such as the WardiTV Weekly. This event only happens, I've been very vocal about this because it's true, this event only happens because of our subscribers and how many subs we have. So if you ever wanted to support the stream but also support StarCraft at the same time, subbing is a fantastic way to do so, because again, we put out lots of bits and pieces from, you know, we put that sub money into bits and pieces on the of events as well. Fury going to counterattack, but he hits a wall. Engineering bays aren't quite ready, but there's Marines here to do enough damage to these Lings before they break through that there's not really going to be that many Lings that actually get in towards the main. And even if there is, more Marines come in as well, and you can see it's a very convincing defense from aLive. And Guru losing that many units might now just be in trouble, as, you know, a couple of Medivacs come in, Marines load up into them, and they go across the map. So this could be a little bit problematic, as aLive does indeed begin to move on down to the south side, looking to start being aggressive. So Marines coming down in these 2 Medivacs, and again looking to see if he can get some damage. If it should be good, I mean, right, there's like barely any Lings out at the moment. There is not that many Queens either, apparently, because he made more Lings or something. I don't know, he just doesn't seem to have much at all. Gathering everything together right now, these Marines will begin to sim on forwards. A little bit of damage done already. And then backing away, now moving in again, and then backing away. The dance between the Marines at this stage of the game is always fun to watch, because you don't actually want to lose any Marines. You want to trade, step back, but you never want to get surrounded. You never want to lose a Medivac, definitely, because you're just going to be so much stronger in a couple moments' time when you have the next 2 Medivacs and the next 12 to 16 Marines, which can join the fray. As a total, you know, 28 Marines and 4 Medivacs just trade so well against the Zerg at this early stage. So And that's what aLive's going to be building up towards. You might be saying, well, where is Medivacs? He'll be building the next 2 Medivacs with his next 200 gas, basically, which is right about now. So 2 more Medivacs on the way. And the way it lines up is it basically just gives you time to build, upgrades, the combat shields, etc. And then the next 200 gas comes in, the Medivacs start, and it lines up nicely with having a good chunk of Marines to actually load up into those Medivacs and to send across the map. And then the next 100 gas can go into an armory, so your 2-2 upgrades line up. I mean, this is just such a well thought out and developed build now, because we've seen it in play for about a year at this point. We really have just seen it, day in and day out to some extent, time and time again. Just never-ending StarCraft as Lings will run forwards. Queen's going to try and chase down those Marines in a couple of Medivacs, wherever possible. So this Marine's going to pull away and just try and see what they can do. Third CC going to lift up and going to transition down to the low ground as well, and we'll be getting ready to see how that will go too. Another Medivac loads, but actually finds an overload, so aLive not kind of too eager to just push forwards with more units, just instead playing it slowly, safely, and just taking the guaranteed damage. That is kind of an overload kill, and all the rest of it. Just sim forwards here, and again, it's this Ravager sort of playstyle from Guru, but he just loses a couple of them, which again, very quickly, is going to be very, very costly. Thank you very much, by the way, Borgar, for the sub in the Oh, we don't mind interrupting Borgar's shout out. Thank you very much, Borgar, for subscribing. Very much appreciate getting some love in the chat for that one. Thank you. And as LaserSec keeps saying, guys, as well, just as we again have a moment or two of peace and quiet in this game, if you guys are enjoying the games today, you can support this event directly over on the Match Arena page. Either with a coupon code, you can use the WTV11 code, adds $1 for free, just takes a few seconds of your time. Or you can donate a few dollars as well to raise the prize pool past $100. And again, support the players. Top 2 players will take a cut of anything you donate. So anything you donate goes directly to the players. No portion taken out by us. It's all about supporting this event and just crowdfunding it to, again, make it a reality. Keep it happening. Keep bringing you guys more and more of this beautiful game, which is StarCraft 2. Medivac to the south side, going to try and maybe delay the fall for a little bit, but it's the only thing really on the map from aLive. He's going to load up one more Medivac and go to the left side. Maybe just a scan. And, by the way, this is my new favorite critter. The reptile crate. Isn't it awesome? It's like, it actually moves around as well. It's so cool. This map, I know a lot of people don't really like it, but it has my favorite crits on it. It has a cleaning bot, and it has a reptile crate. It's awesome. Nice Fungal, nice Corrosive Bars to follow up, and that is a dead Medivac and dead Marines as well. Meanwhile, just a single Medivac to clean creep on the left side of the map. Obviously, the less creep there is, the less control of the map Guru will tend to have, as this game a little bit better for Guru. He hasn't been losing so much throughout, and so we'll probably be able to get in towards a bit of a, better stage of this as time goes by. So continues to get that going, and these Marines from aLive just moving around in towards the center of the map as well at the moment. So Marines will just move in towards the center. We'll see the Queen just getting sniped down nice and quick, and again a couple more creep tumors just getting cleaned out as well. Medivac lifts once more, pulls on over to the right, and still again units just gathering up in the center here, trying to get, well, not trying, but potentially getting ready to do a little bit more damage in the near future. So they're setting up over here, and just waiting to see what is next. Ultra Cavern comes down. It's going to be finishing up momentarily as well. 4th base from aLive is also about to, well, is also starting up at least, at the very least. So 4th base starts, gets going. I mean, he's just finished up 2-2 upgrades. aLive, if there's ever a time for him to fight, it would be now, before the Ultras start coming onto the map, etc., with his own 2-2 finishing. But I think he's just quite happy to play the later stages of this game. He's been dropping for now, slowing the Zerg down a bit. Either he goes for a large push now, or he starts his transition into libs. Either way, something will happen here very shortly in this TVZ. Something will come around to start making this happen. So we'll see exactly what that will be in just a few moments. As Marines, Marauders, these couple of tanks as well, all setting themselves up, all looking to see what they can do. Back in the main. Does pick up a couple of workers, 2, 3. Again, just little bits and pieces of damage. The Ultras, again, we've mentioned it a couple of times, but they are on the way, and again, we do just see Liberators on the way from aLive. Very passive, just not really looking to utilize the, not really looking to utilize the kind of pushing potential, I guess, that Terran has at that sort of stage of the game, just before Ultras. He's going to push now, which is maybe at a bit of a weirder time. Like, I don't know it's weird because you think about it, what has aLive just got that makes this good to push with? Well, nothing. To be brutally honest with you guys, like, absolutely nothing. His free is halfway done. I mean, maybe he just wants to clean out creep, which it looks like he does. If he goes for a big fight here, it really makes no sense, because he's just been sat for 30-40 seconds where he's allowing Guru to set up into ultras, and he's not getting anything new himself. You know, a couple of libs on the way, but they weren't here as part of this army initially, so was a weird one. Looks like he'll come down to the right side of the map. Still very good creep spread from Guru out over to this direction. And we'll maybe be able to siege up towards the front to go in towards those drones, as we're going to be seeing a... again, this Bioforce is going to work his way through that debris. Rocks go down, and still a lot more Lings coming up to the top, seeing where else they can go, seeing what else they can get up to. Ling's going to run in, and a couple of depots already taking some damage. Some SCVs under fire as well. Marines and Marauders continue to trade this out, and again, these Lings just keep on dropping down. I mean, it's a nice counterattack if you can kill the engineering base especially, but I don't think you will. SCVs will repair. Now these ultras come in, and that's actually a little bit awkward, because now these ultras are all on their own. How do they get out of here? The whole Bioforce will fight them on their own again. Like, that's kind of a crucial part of this, and these ultras, they somehow actually trade very well. Guru killing 24 SCVs so far. Actually, Guru killing a hell of a lot already. As we're going to see a few Lings just going to jump up in towards the main and do a little bit more damage. Just bits and pieces being picked off here. aLive loses a lot of workers. Obviously, he still maintains quite a solid army, and he does now have free upgrades against what is still just currently 1-2 for the Ultralisks, which are the main kind of units to keep in mind here. I think the most important thing to kind of keep in mind is the fact that +3 Carapace is on the way. The Carapace is the most important thing for Ultras, because it's all about for them surviving and staying alive for as long as possible, basically, rather than too much else. We'll see again Lings, Roaches, Ravagers pushing on through. Infestor's burrowed, looking for those fungals. Grabs a good clump of medevacs. That's going to be pretty deadly, although he actually uses the biles on the Liberators, even though he only manages to hit one of them here. Another fungal growth comes down. The Marine and Marauder getting caught in that, and well, actually in the end, aLive wins out this fight. I feel as though the corrosive biles really kind of not being used effectively there. You know, he hits to the side and picks off a Liberator, but he didn't get both Liberators, and I mean, he had a huge clump of medevacs he could have killed, a huge amount of bio, but the bios just didn't seem to land on any of that at all. And so suddenly aLive has a huge amount of army continue to pressure forwards, and this fourth base of Guru will be in trouble. Now, new Ultras are about to pop out, but I mean, more and more units are just going to keep on coming across the map from aLive here. We'll fight against these Ultras. Momentarily, they only have +2 character face against the +3 attack of the Terran. And we're just going to be seeing continue to fight. Tanks doing their job. I mean, the Liberator is just not even needed at this point. The fungal growths just aren't doing enough at all, because there's no real support. There's no follow-up to these fungal growths, you know. Fungals are very much so kind of utility, a utility sort of thing to utilize. So a little bit of a weird thing to see them kind of going on here. You're going to see these Ultralisks are still taking some bits and pieces of damage, and again, aLive keeps pushing forwards. I think Guru's in trouble, man. Like, he just can't seem to get enough together. His Infestors are all out of energy, and he has this push on his doorstep. I mean, there's no easy way for him to get out of this. That Ultra goes down, another Ultra goes down. One scan, and these 4 Infestors just instantly die as well, by the way, and he must know they're somewhat close. Guru says OMG, I think realizing he threw this a little bit. GG's. aLive